So it's funny, there are three things that you've outgrown that you maybe don't realize that you have. Because I want you to think about this. Your life is going from, we're like learning about ourselves, we get more and more mature. In the same way a child grows, in the same way we potty train a toddler. Well, you've outgrown something that's holding you back. And there are three things. And here's the thing. Don't we all want to have less self-doubt, more belief, more confidence, more like courage to know, I got this goal. I'm not doubting that I can do it. I'm not self-sabotaging. I believe I can do it and I'm stepping into it. Yeah, we want that, right? Like, because ultimately we know when we're thriving in this path of the flow of joy and peace and fulfillment, and like we're knocking off our goals and we're living in our purpose, we have happiness. So what is it that's holding us back the most from happiness and confidence? Well, it's three things you've outgrown. It's caring what other people think. It's being in a rush, which that's a whole, it's like not just a rush. Well, two concepts of this rush, like being in a rush in like your life and your day-to-day basis, which really means you're overcommitted and you don't know your priorities, or it means being in a rush of your results. Like we want so badly to be farther along than where we actually are. We want somebody else's results. We see the flower that's bloomed, but we haven't seen the watering and the weeding that they've done. So it's comparing our story and our route to that of someone else. So we care too much what people think. We're in a rush based on like throughout our day because we're overcommitted and we're performance-based. We're afraid to let people down. Or we don't also know how to say no. Or we are comparing our timeline to that of someone else's, or we're comparing our timeline to that of where we wish we were, right? Like, oh man, I should be further along. How many of you said that? Have you said, I should be further along than I am? Or I shouldn't have made this mistake. Or I shouldn't keep struggling with this, right? Or cluttered thinking. Now, what is cluttered thinking? I would define cluttered thinking as really being stuck in overwhelm and worry about all the things. So like worrying about feeling overwhelmed, feeling behind, feeling like no matter what, you're never doing enough. Like that whole concept of Sisyphus pushing this giant boulder and it just keeps rolling back, and then you're pushing it up and it just keeps rolling back. That is a cluttered mind, or this point where you're like, I have these goals, I have these ideas, but I can't seem to even articulate or get clarity on them. And so what that's doing is making you have this foggy brain where you're like, I just want more of this. Maybe this will help me. And the reality is it's cluttered thinking. It's cluttered thinking that's holding us back. And so look, it takes a long time to unwind all these, which is why I put this together in this week's podcast that just dropped, the Confidence Podcast. Pop some earbuds in, your big old headphones, your AirPods, however you listen, maybe while you're driving, and check the show out this week. You're really going to love this. If you want to feel more confident and happier, you gotta drop these three things. We gotta stop caring what people think, stop being in a rush or comparing our timeline or thinking we should be further along than we are, and cluttered thinking. I'm going to really help you declutter your mind. We're Marie Kondoing our thoughts, Marie Kondoing our mind, so that you have the space to think about what matters to you, about what and how to know how to take the next steps, and how to stop getting in your own way and stop the self-sabotage. So you will get more results. You're going to feel better about yourself. You're going to see the growth, and you will in turn be more confident and happier. So that is how we use these things. And what's so powerful, I think, is when you step out, you give yourself permission to say, I've outgrown this. Like, how cool is it to be like, no, I don't need this anymore. Like my toddler, she doesn't need diapers anymore. She has outgrown diapers. Great. Well, you've outgrown these things. You've outgrown caring what people think. You've outgrown being in a rush or comparing yourself to where you think you should be. And you have outgrown, my friend, cluttered thinking. Now we got to put it into practice. Now we got to work through it. So the first step is to go in and listen to the podcast. It's episode number 315 of the Confidence Podcast. You can find it anywhere you listen to podcasts: Stitcher Radio, Google Play, iTunes, Apple Play. Or right on my website, trishblackwell.com/315. Please share it with a friend. And if this is like really resonating with you, then you want to take the next level. The next level is where we go to college confidence, where I can actually interact with you personally and help you. You pick one of these things. I wouldn't recommend picking three at one time. Like if you're struggling with all three, caring what people think, being in a rush, and cluttered thinking, we're not going to attack all three at one time. We're going to start breaking down one at a time. And so one at a time, we'll break these apart. And so we do that starting with the podcast and then in the college confidence. My challenge to you today is to identify caring what people think is your biggest struggle, or if being in a rush and worrying about your timeline compared to somebody else's is your biggest hurdle right now, or if cluttered thinking, that overwhelm, the foggy, the inability to have space to really know what you want or what you should be doing next. You might have all three. That's okay. I want you to identify. So you might, hurdles are different heights. How high is that fence? Pick the fence that's the highest, and let's start knocking that down. Okay? Hopefully you're inspired. I believe in you. I need you to know I'm cheering you on. And this is a process that just takes time. It's not a quick fix. I would love it to be a light switch, but it's okay. That's okay. It's a process and we do it. So check out the podcast, episode 315. And then if you're ready to go next level, come join me in the College of Confidence, which you can find info about at thecollegeofconfidence.com. All right. Have an amazing morning. Hi, Kara.